Thank you, everybody, for being here today at the ATARC Quantum Speaker Series. We're so excited to have you and excited to have Idalia Friedson from Strangeworks as our speaker today. As always, please make sure you post your questions in the Q&A box at the bottom, and we will hope to get to as many of them as we can at the end. So Idalia is the Chief Strategy Officer at Strangeworks and leads the corporate strategy, strategic partnerships, and customer engagements for Strangeworks. Prior to Strangeworks, she was the chief of staff at Rigetti and helped take the company public. In 2017, she co-founded the world's first quantum information science policy center at the Hudson Institute and has briefed senior White House officials and government officials on quantum policy. Her publications have appeared in numerous outlets, and she is a core member of the PIC Quantum and Ethics Policy Center. So with that, Idalia, if you can come on camera and share your screen, we're so excited to have you here, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Allison, for that kind introduction. I really appreciate it. Can you confirm you're looking at my slides, Quantum Computing with Strangeworks?
Yes, we can see it. Perfect.
Great. Well, thank you so much. It's really a pleasure to be part of the speaker series and meet the folks on the line. As Allison said, my name is Idalia Friedson. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at Strangeworks. And today I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about Strangeworks and what our company is and our product. I'll spend a little bit on quantum and quantum-inspired use cases and technology. I'll touch upon the convergence of quantum and AI, and then I'll show you a little bit about the Strangeworks product and do a demo before opening it up to Q&A. So at Strangeworks, we're really focused on enabling organizations to solve valuable business problems today and gather valuable business insights while preparing for tomorrow. The tomorrow and today, including a lot of these novel technologies that I'm going to talk about. So how do we enable organizations to do this? Well, we do it through our software product, our cloud-based software product that provides access to the largest catalog of advanced compute platforms, including quantum and quantum-inspired technologies. We also have a handful of managed solutions and services. These are really abstractions focused on enabling users who don't have PhDs or deep knowledge in quantum computing to take advantage of the quantum and quantum-inspired technology that we offer. We work closely with a large ecosystem of partners, of hardware and software partners, with professional service experts and others to really provide the most amount of value to our users and our partners. We're a 30-person startup based out of Austin, Texas, that's been around for about 7 years. So we really partner closely with folks across the entire quantum and advanced compute ecosystem to bring kind of the best-in-class product to our users. And we have a focus on flexibility and customization for our users. The technology is complicated. There's a lot of complexity, and we're focused on making it easy for customers and partners, which is why not only do we provide access directly to the Strangeworks product, but we also couple it with professional services and guided engagements for those users and partners who are looking for a little bit more hand-holding and expertise from our technologists. So I'll spend a brief moment on quantum computing for those who might not be super familiar with it. And this will be kind of the pop science definition that will make real quantum physicists cringe, but just to kind of orient us into why this space is exciting and why I've chosen to be in this space for the last 9 years. And I'm very excited and passionate about it and excited to talk to you about it. So the thing that's so incredible about quantum computing is that it's fundamentally a new paradigm of computing that's going to enable us to solve problems that are not currently solvable by classical computers. Not only will we first be able to solve problems that current computers can't solve, but we'll be able to solve things that they can't today. Why is this possible? It's possible due to some key properties of entanglement and superposition that quantum computers possess, which at the most basic, the way to think about it is a classical computer encodes and stores information in a bit, which can be either 0 or 1, on or off. A quantum computer encodes information as a quantum bit or a qubit, which represents information as not just 0 and 1 at the same time, but potentially all states in between. This means that a quantum computer can explore a larger solution space simultaneously compared to a classical computer. So the image I like to show is the one on the screen. A classical computer, if it's trying to solve a problem, will kind of attempt one route at a time sequentially. to figure out the best path through the maze, right? A quantum computer can evaluate all of these potential paths simultaneously in order to converge on a solution faster. And so this property of superposition means that quantum computers scale exponentially because of their ability to represent all states. And so what that means is if you're trying to double the compute power of a classical computer, you need to double the number of transistors. For a quantum computer, you just add 1 qubit to double the compute power. And this is why quantum computing is going to be so powerful and such a game changer for a whole bunch of different use cases across these areas listed on the screen. They're typically the use case areas for quantum are communicated as optimization, machine learning, simulation, and cryptography. And when you look at optimization, some of the big ones that get talked about often are route optimization and logistics, so that packages and people and deliveries can arrive faster and more efficiently with less emissions and less waste. Portfolio optimization problems. When you look at machine learning, think about all of the different autonomous vehicle type of applications, autonomous technology, even things like improving weather radar so we can have improved disaster response, and simulation, things like drug discovery and solving diseases that we can't cure today, figuring out how to create better catalysts that oftentimes lead to a lot of emissions, thinking about how to create better solar cells and batteries. So a lot of the problems that we face in the world today, quantum computing is going to be a game changer. People sometimes talk about there's a bigger difference between your classical laptop that you use today and a quantum computer than there is between your laptop and an abacus, because it's just such a different way of computing. And this is why it's so exciting, because while a quantum computer is not going to replace classical, there's so many industries it's going to touch. So I'll spend a second talking about the different types of technologies. This slide is one we always start off with at Strangeworks when we're talking to people about quantum. The reason being because when most people think about quantum technology, they think about quantum gate-based technology, which is essentially a universal quantum computer that will be able to address problems in all of the areas I talked about: optimization, machine learning, simulation, cryptography. But oftentimes what gets missed is the real impact and value today around quantum-inspired and quantum annealing technologies. So I'll just take a minute to talk about them briefly. So quantum-inspired technologies are classical technologies that are designed to emulate the properties of quantum computing. So they're either quantum-inspired algorithms or quantum-inspired special purpose hardware that are made for kind of emulating quantum. These quantum-inspired technologies are also especially designed to solve combinatorial optimization problems. There's a whole host of those technologies. In particular, Strangeworks has the largest catalog of quantum-inspired technologies, and it's a place where we've put a lot of effort into making those available. As you move towards the right in terms of technical maturity, we have quantum annealing and quantum annealers, and this is true quantum technology, right? These quantum annealers are devices that basically operate by trying to find the local energy minima and find the solution to combinatorial optimization problems, as well as a handful of machine learning problems as well. Quantum annealers are also especially good at optimization problems. As you move even more to the right, we have quantum gate-based machines, and these are kind of the universal machines that I had mentioned before. And so when we think about the value today, part of the reason that we're really excited about quantum-inspired and quantum annealing technologies is because there's a big mentality out there that you need to have quantum gate-based technologies and you need to have a quantum computer outperforming the best-in-class classical solution in order to see value from these technologies. And that's a fallacy in the sense that what we're actually seeing, and I'll show a few examples, is there's very real value being generated today for businesses that are looking at and employing both quantum-inspired and quantum annealing technologies. The reason for this is because, it would be great if all of the computational challenges that all businesses have was solved through the best-in-class classical solution, whether it's commercial grade optimizer or HPC or even a supercomputer, depending on the problem. The reality is there's a ton of businesses, even some of the most advanced businesses and organizations, private and public, that are using perhaps just your standard classical technology, or they're using a lot of spreadsheets, they're using open source solvers and things like that. And that's where we really encourage businesses, if you're thinking about making that step in trying to solve optimization problems today that can be improved upon, look and explore and look at quantum inspired and quantum annealing technologies. The reason being, if you're going to make a step change and start to solve these problems with advanced compute, if you're looking at classical, you're going to wind up most likely needing to then replace that in the not too distant future in order to bring to bear some of these upcoming quantum technologies. So looking at both of them, or really bringing in the quantum inspired and quantum annealing stuff today, is not only valuable to, driving real ROI, but also because the work that you do to formulate the problem is going to translate. It's going to translate to quantum gate-based technologies. It's not going to be in vain. It's going to start that continuum that each company really needs to work on. The way I sort of like to explain it to people is taking advantage of the quantum hardware technologies is something that is very exciting. And, to oversimplify it, if you want to be able to kind of turn on the light switch when some of these underlying hardware really starts to mature broadly, it's actually not as easy as flipping on a switch. You have to have all the wiring. You have to have everything connected up. Doing that work to get companies ready and understanding and driving ROI today and building out those workflows, it takes time. So this is why some of the near-term opportunities we see is in optimization, because this quantum inspired tech and this quantum annealing technology is special purpose for optimization. So here are just a few examples of some of the problems being solved today. These examples are not solved through the Strangeworks product, but we make available the technologies that I'm showing on this slide. So Vestel is one that optimized their supply chain planning and execution with increased accuracy, increased savings costs in terms of time. They use Gurobi, which is a classical optimizer that we make available for our optimization service. And then some of the really exciting examples when you look at the quantum inspired technologies is that NEC has two examples of working with customers for production grade problems to improve the delivery route optimization, improving time savings, reducing CO2, optimizing manufacturing placement for product planning. And then D-Wave has a whole host of examples. The one that we pulled out here is working with a company in Japan called Recruit to help optimize TV ads. And when my coworkers go to Japan pretty often, and when they're there, they'll oftentimes see ads and stuff that have been optimized by D-Wave. So these are some examples of these companies weren't necessarily throwing the best in class, most expensive, all 9 yards at these problems. They were able to leverage these technologies to get real ROI today and start to future-proof businesses and their business units for the stuff that's coming regards to advanced compute and drive some real value in production today. So I want to take a second and talk about a specific example for Strangeworks. So we worked with a healthcare and life sciences company on a specific use case related to their business. I can't get into too much of the details, but essentially their goals were twofold. Number one is they wanted to develop a service, like a workflow solution, essentially, that made it easy for them to submit their problem in the kind of native file format for their use case, and then easily run it across the 8 different optimization solvers from classical to quantum and quantum inspired. And what Strangeworks was able to do is make it easy for them to submit that file format. We converted it to a Cubo, and then that Cubo file format, our optimization service kind of automatically embeds it to run across the different technologies. And that's something that our optimization service is something that nearly all of our customers use it for that reason. It's the simplicity of a single input, standardized output, and you just switch between the different backends by changing the resource ID. So we were able to deliver that service. And then another goal of theirs was to just understand and see the improvements of the quantum technology over the handful of a few years of work. So there was a 93% improvement in the quality of the solution when we looked at the technology 3 years later to some of the work they'd done prior. And that was looking across, a handful of different solvers. So this is kind of ongoing work that we have with them, and they were super pleased by this and really recognize the value of these technologies and have basically said, here's the ROI we expect at maturity. So that's a little bit about optimization and why we're so excited about optimization. Before I give you a brief Strangeworks demo, I want to spend a second on quantum and AI. Our CEO, William Hurley, he has a handful of talks out there on quantum and AI. So if you're interested in knowing more, you can Google him and find some of those, or if you're going to South by Southwest, he'll be up on the main stage talking about this as well on Saturday. But one thing I want to call out, and my colleagues in the quantum industry probably feel this as well, is some of the challenges that we face working with customers, including the example that I just gave, is that quantum computing is complicated. There's a few number of people in the whole world who are experts in quantum. It's challenging, and there's not a ton of folks who necessarily can easily engage at a deep research level. So in general, one of the things we're very excited about when we look at quantum and AI is the opportunity to better leverage AI for lowering the barrier to entry for non-quantum experts to solve certain problems and solve this sort of cold start problem for leveraging advanced compute, quantum and otherwise. So we believe that it's this convergence of LLMs, co-pilots, and advanced compute that's going to enable more folks to engage in scientific discovery and with quantum computing, right? Like, I think there are 8 billion people in the world and 0.1% of them are scientists. And this convergence of AI and quantum computing is really going to make it so that we start to interact with science in human language. And one of the things that we believe at Strangeworks is that for AI to reach its full potential, for artificial general intelligence, having quantum computer as part of the coprocessor, part of the technology that speeds up the machine learning, improves it, quantum is going to be really central to that. On the flip side, as quantum computers get more complex, they get larger, you start to see heterogeneous workflows that use not only different QPUs, but also CPUs and GPUs. AI is going to help program these very, very complicated machines. And so reaching the full maturity of quantum and AI is going to rely on a close intersection. So at Strangeworks, one of the things we've done is roll out Shroddy Chat, who makes it really easy. This is kind of our tailored chat interface that makes it easy for business folks in particular to go and ask questions and understand how quantum computing can help with their business, ask follow-up questions, use it to get more information, to connect with a Strangeworks member. So we'll have more AI stuff coming. This is kind of all I can say right now, but that's sort of part of what is exciting us at Strangeworks at the moment. So I have a few minutes left, so I'll give a very quick overview of our product. So in a nutshell, Strangeworks has an online platform, which is what I'm going to show you today. And then we have a downloadable SDK that designed to work seamlessly in whatever a developer's workflow is, whether it's Jupyter or VS Code or Python. So this is the Strangeworks portal. So this is the landing page. I'm in my workspace. Everything is managed in an individual workspace. We have enterprise workspaces. We have individual workspaces with a bit different, more robust functionality for the enterprise ones. So this landing page shows me my recent resource usage. It shows me my recent jobs. I have my documentation and downloadable SDK. And notably, I have the Strangeworks API key, which is a single API key to get access to all of the different solvers and resources we provide access to. This is particularly helpful because it means that users don't have to go out and contract with a bunch of different companies. They don't have to go get different API keys or bring them to bear. So it makes it really simple to kind of get started. This catalog is basically what kind of powers the Strangeworks product. So we list all of the different compute providers we have access to, a whole bunch of gate-based technologies, IBM, Bracket, Rigetti, annealing, D-Waves annealing technology, and a handful of quantum-inspired technologies as well. And so the way that you would get access is kind of just click on the product, add the resource, accept the terms and conditions, and then everything gets launched as a resource. And so we make it easy for folks to organize different resources. If you have, 3 different IBM projects going on with the same resource, you can create separate resources with separate resource IDs to keep track of everything. You put this resource ID in your notebook. When you submit a job, it will populate in the portal with the kind of custom visualizations and outputs. And then the associated billing transactions are associated to the specific resources as well. We also have a jobs page that's very similar to the resources page, but organizes everything by jobs. You can click into them, you can filter on them, you can tag them depending on the type of work that you're doing. And then we also have our managed applications section. This is sort of our kind of more tailored solutions. We have a couple quantum machine learning methods by Rigetti. And then we have our Strangeworks optimization service, which I've mentioned a few times, is one of our flagship services that's especially designed to make it easy to submit a QUBO, have it connect to a whole bunch of different backends, and then get a standardized output. So that portability across solvers is something that we've really prioritized, and it helps users go faster. It simplifies problem formulation and code creation. These are products that are just specific to my workspace, so I won't. You have kind of the flexibility for your individual workspace. And then the last thing I will show is our enterprise billing functionality. So can create settings so that I can create different roles and permissions. I can set a member spending limit if I only wanted, James, for example, to have a certain spending limit. I can create a workspace spending limit. And then I have sort of unified billing where I can see everything across the different jobs, the different resources, and then I can drill down into another level of detail for that. So that's the Strangeworks product in a nutshell, if you're interested in learning more. And then I'll just say, we're happy to follow up with anyone who's interested today. There's 3 ways we tend to interact with folks. We do strategy and engagement for folks who are just looking to understand more and create their quantum strategy. We do guided engagements for organizations that are looking to use the product with a little bit more support or have, our experts work through a proof of concept. And then we just have direct enterprise software licenses for people who just want access to the product and don't really need any additional guidance or education on top of that. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Allison, for some Q&A.
Thanks so much. That was absolutely fascinating. I love the Schrödinger's cat chat. I can't wait to get in there. For folks, please, if you have any questions, please put them into the Q&A section at the bottom, and we'll try and get to as many as possible. I actually have one that I'm going to take the right of first question here. So you'd mentioned optimization. You had mentioned a pharmaceutical company. I guess the question I have is, so many times we just don't know who can benefit from the technology today. And that's kind of a question that's out there, do I have a problem that's right for quantum or quantum inspired? So I'd love, from your perspective, what are the right industries or the right types of problems, whether it's across industries, that you think from Strangeworks perspective, you guys are kind of seeing come in through your front door?
That's a great question. I'll first speak to some of the industries that we're seeing a lot of traction in. So one of them, like I mentioned, is healthcare and pharmaceuticals. There's a whole bunch of problems there, from optimization to simulation, drug discovery, machine learning. So we're seeing a lot of traction in pharma. We're seeing a lot of traction in energy, manufacturing, finance, defense, and logistics. Those are some of the tops. And like I said, there's a lot of interest in optimization because their optimization problems are so widespread. But in general, any organization or team that has a lot of data, a lot of complex data, they're running into computational bottlenecks. They're trying to optimize across a lot of different variables or a lot of complexities, are problems that are well suited for quantum computing. There's important work. Usually that's the first step of a company or an organization getting involved in quantum, which is to sort of inventory what those problems are and understand where they might be valuable. And that work is super important. And both business units and innovation teams are finding value in leveraging this technology today.
Wonderful. Thanks so much. You mentioned computational bottlenecks. I'd love to kind of tap into your old Hudson Institute background. The public sector has a lot of computational bottlenecks. And so I'd love to kind of get your thoughts on what you see from a public sector perspective, where the benefits of quantum computing or quantum inspired technologies could help.
That's a great question. One of the things that's been really heartening to see in the US over the last 6 or 7 years, and you and I especially have been working on it, is some of the focus across the government, DoD and DOE, and different agencies to really take heed of these technologies. I think some of the use cases that get talked a lot about, when you think about national security technologies, you think about logistics optimization and how critical that is. Things around like communications optimization and bandwidth and signaling, for those types of work with kind of just communications across teams. Satellite imagery and improving satellite imagery and data is another one. And then all of the kind of autonomous vehicle efforts to improve that type of technology and imaging. Those are some big ones. I'd say in general, machine learning and optimization, I see a lot of near-term low-hanging fruit. And I think that's where a lot of the DoD has focused in particular. DOE, with the Quantum Information Science Centers, has spent a lot of time looking at a lot of R&D to enable the hardware, to improve coherence, to improve systems. And one of the things I think that the US public sector is doing well is recognizing that quantum information science incorporates computing, sensing, and communications. So we focus today on the computing piece of it, but there's a lot of opportunity and richness in quantum sensing and quantum communications, and they all rely on a lot of the same fundamental technologies, and I think we'll work more and more closely together as the technologies mature.
That's amazing. We do have a question that was submitted in about how Strangeworks works with universities on training. So we have a question from the University of District of Columbia that they have an associate's degree on QIS, and wondering kind of, as you are taking on kind of training and workforce development, how would a university like District of Columbia or different academia kind of work with Strangeworks?
Yeah, that's a great question. I really appreciate it. I think an easy way to do it is to go to strangeworks.com and reach out and hit connect with us. We have a special sort of backstage pass program designed for researchers and universities and individual folks in academia to try and make it easier. There are ways sometimes in which we can provide free credits to get access to some of the technologies and machines, and really enable this folks. Like I said, our product supports kind of one-off users, as well as larger enterprise engagements. That's where the kind of larger enterprise engagements is where we tend to focus on providing some of the guided engagements. But if we have folks on the line from university, academia, government, please do reach out, because we're eager to connect with you, and we hopefully have some easy ways to get you started off the bat.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'd love to kind of ask a question, because you guys have access to so many different types of software and hardware. I'd love to talk a little bit about benchmarking. If somebody comes to you and says, I have a problem, do you kind of navigate them to a specific one, or how do you help them identify which is the best different technology for their problem that they're trying to solve today?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think the short answer is that, like, we try to be very honest with people about what we're seeing, but at the end of the day, we also want them to be empowered to research it and see for themselves and try and explore use cases on different technologies. And so right now, when people are coming to us and trying to explore these technologies, we're tending to direct them more towards optimization, because there's such a breadth of use cases. The maturity level of annealers and quantum inspired technology is in that use case specifically, far ahead of gate-based technology. And so we have our optimization service to help equip our end users to easily explore and benchmark across different technologies, and we'll provide recommendations about if the problem will map well to a certain type of solver. Like, some solvers have certain variable limits. Some of them are larger, some of them handle certain types of constraints better. So we have expertise that helps take some of the nuances of the problem and connect them to solvers and maybe set parameters in a way that's most effective for them. But in general, what we also try to do is empower our partners and our customers to explore and understand what is possible today and keep track of that, because it's constantly changing. And from my perspective, it's too early to just down select across one technology in one area, in one vertical. Keeping that awareness and constant understanding is important.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We are actually at time now, so I apologize for those who submitted questions that we weren't able to get to. We will try our best. We will provide copies of the slides to the participants. For folks who are able to attend, please look forward to the next speaker series, and we have wonderful conversations coming up, global ones as well. Idalia, thank you again so much for your time today and all the work that you do at Strangeworks for this industry.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Take care.